Good evening, traders. Welcome to OptionsTender. This is a little bit different. I was out of the office today, and so we're going to go over all the usual indicators that we have that we usually go through intraday. And by the way, if you want to get these intraday besides today, consider becoming a YouTube member. It's 99 cents. I appreciate all the support on the channel. And right now, overall, we're looking for a top. That's all there is to it. We're into the zone. So we just hit this trend line from January and before the three last all-time highs here. We hit that trend line today at the end of the day. We have an options expected move just above. We have the 2008 trend line that it connects with 2025 and 2022 as well. All right, we're not going to go back and look at those. You can look at the weekend video if you want to see all of that commentary. All right, so we're in the zone, and we started to layer on some of those puts with the short-term call hedges. We'll talk about that in the members video. So if you want to follow the trades that I do and get those targets and all those things, consider becoming a YouTube member for $4.99. And I'd like to, any of the trade alerts that you get those for 99 cents, all the trade alerts. But if you want to go deeper into why and some education and cycles and things like that, then that's for the premium membership. Okay, so let's jump into it, you guys. We have the moving averages, obviously positive. We're in a bullish stance. Nothing to see here, but we are now into our major resistances, historic trend lines, and the near-term trend lines from the last crash. McClellan oscillator, well overbought. We are in the well overbought territory. Boom. When this starts to roll over, it's going to be bad. Okay, I'm just going to put it that way. But we're in the condition that we could see a reversal anytime. Not only are we at resistance, we are also overbought on the oscillator. We're running hot here. All right, and we do have news lingering. We have this Megabill. Is it going to pass? Is it going to pass over the weekend rather than tomorrow? We'll see. That might mark a top. I don't know how it will happen. Perhaps it makes a pop with the news and then a drop. Or maybe the bill won't pass and we drop. Maybe the market doesn't like it. We'll see. So our oscillator, okay. Now this is a good development. This is why we do this every day, okay? So we're starting to see some changes in character here. We have our top, and then we have negative divergence. We have a positive histogram here, so we need to see that turn red. But here is a hint. We have a high here on the RSI, and on the daily time frame, we just now made a divergent high. So not only do we have one here to here, but we had a nice correction, and so in the near term, we're starting to see that divergence happening with new highs. All right, and we're starting to see a curl, maybe possibly a crossover on the slow stoke. And so when that crosses over the 80, that will be a sell signal on its own. Demark, we're following this. We're getting closer. Here we go. We have the 12 count. As of tomorrow, we're going to have a 9-9-13 sell signal. So do we get a drop tomorrow or is it next week? We don't know that, but we're prepared. We're layering into these moves here. And I would like to see just a little higher into 6,260 or 50-ish, the options expected move and this trend line. That would be fantastic. If we do pop up to the next, so be it. But I'll add more puts into this next zone here. We're only like 30 points away. Awesome oscillator. Again, green, yet this will end up rolling over. Let's see when we get that next red line there. Money flow on a SPY. And no doubt we're seeing the same thing. Brand new high, brand new all-time high today with a lower high, negative divergence, distribution, money flow index. Bollinger Band, another sell signal. We're there again, sell signal. Volume, I keep doing that to you. Awesome oscillator. Again, all this is saying is end of wave 3 into also a wave 3, but also considered a 5, right? These are all 3s and 5s on different degrees. And again, we're going into a wave 5. I'm not going to go through all the targets and all these things that we talked about over the weekend and on Friday. Just looking at the indicators today, and we're going to take a look at the VIX to see where we're at. So this nice trend line that we had here, we had the low in the time frame of the low cycle here on the minor cycle, and the dominant cycle is heading lower. So do we get a new low into it? That's possible. I think this is going to try to make a higher low. Otherwise, the market is going to continue higher, and I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll let price show us. We're exactly on this trend line. We're forming a base here. In my opinion, low, higher low, perhaps inverse hammer. We'll see if we get follow through. Once we start breaking these highs here, then I think we're going to close this gap, and we'll see our just the initial wave 1 down in that case. And maybe we see a rejection off of that for finally a wave 2 pullback. And on SPY, that would mean that we get our first initial wave down, we close that gap on the VIX, and we get our bounce for wave 2. Doesn't have to do that, but we're going to be ready for that type of situation. And we're going to short the bounces, right? So once this starts happening, we're going to short the bounces. And, there's alternate bull scenarios that we're looking at as well. So make sure you check out that weekend analysis that we did this past weekend. So important. So we're on the 65. We have this widening pattern here. We have the 1, 2, 3, possibly into 4, and working on an ending diagonal for 5. We have that trend line just above us, and also the options expected move. We're getting right into that zone. Moving averages are positive. Sorry, I had to pause that. It froze there. All right, moving averages are positive. We're just riding up this 8 EMA so far. But, oops. Okay. Negative divergence in the near term. This is important. This is what we were talking about happening. All right. We're getting so close to the top here. Very similar. I just keep using this one because this is a really good example of getting into this tight trading range here. We made our top, and you notice that we started to roll over on the MACD, and momentum was rolling over, but the big tech stocks kept us up, and we made new higher prices, forming a negative divergence. That did not last very long. All right, I think we're just about there. You got this nice little drop here right at the end, so maybe we get that same thing. I don't know. And again, that was a negative divergence here, 3 peak, boom, boom, and then had our correction. So we have negative divergence happening now. Also, this was a divergence, but this burned through. And so we're forming a negative divergence, but we're just not done with this one yet. All right. So we're already red hot. We're getting ready to roll over. We're getting so close to this move happening. So be ready. That's all I gotta say. Be ready. All right. We have a 9, 9, and another 9 signal here. Looking for some exhaustion. Is this going to continue? It seems so. This week is happening. This is a low volume week, and with the holiday, so it would take some sort of catalyst to make things move. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be bought up. Awesome oscillator. Negative divergences. Boom. It's happening. Money flow. Again, forming another divergence here. Distribution. Bollinger Band. Getting tight. Not quite there yet. Maybe it pops into the top of the band. We can get another sell signal. LA oscillator says we had a 3 into what started, it could have been a wave 5, but now it's a 1, 2 into this, right? So that's the extension that's happening. Another 1, 2, maybe that's a 3. We get a correction 4 and 5. So we have that going into here. Boom. And that's virtually it. I guess I will show, just because, so it does look like maybe the Qs and SMH, it looked like they want to have one more high coming up here. This looks a little less bullish, but if you look at SMH, it's already made a new high, but it only has a 3 wave, maybe possibly a 4, and maybe one more high here. All right, which would bring it into all-time highs. I have the alert right here. 283.07 would give us a new all-time high right there, and possibly a double top in this process. Again, there's a bullish situation that we're going to keep an eye on, but you can check that out in the weekend analysis. All right, that's it, you guys. Thanks for joining us here. Short video.